he cares about these helpless mortals.
Of course he cares. He died for our sins.
That shall be his undoing.
Highlander is about immortals, but it's good to know just how pathetically dumb and ridiculously evil a lot of the mortal characters are. In this video, I'll be highlighting 5 dubious mortals for you to laugh at or hate. My name is David McMurdo, and welcome to Highlander Lore, where you learn the deepest Highlander lore from a Highlander.
Have you read what it says in here?
You kidding, Tony? You know cops can't read.
What does incompetent mean?
That mayor, he calls me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Man, I don't even answer the phone anymore.
Hey, what does baffled mean?
It goes without saying that there's loads of standout mortals in the Highlander universe. I chose my 5 for a variety of reasons, but I could have chosen so many more in their place. So let me know who your 5 picks for terrible mortals are. For those who might be watching Highlander for the first time due to my videos, there are lots of spoilers ahead. Number 5. Chulin. There's a lot about Chulin's character that I actually like. He stole a potion from immortal alchemist Kiem's son, a potion that makes those who imbibe it super strong and totally obedient. He does this to trick unwitting people into ingesting it, people he can then use to steal diamonds.
Will you join me in an old Chinese custom?
Huh?
Tea. To show there are no hard feelings.
Tea? Hey, what the hell is this anyway? I hate tea.
Please, it's ancient tradition. I would be most offended.
So you've got to have some respect for Chulin because he's on his grind.
Don't you know you can't interfere with a guy about to make his fortune?
I mean, sure, the potion does have the unfortunate side effect of killing anyone who takes it. But you know what? That's a price Chulin is willing to pay. I also really love this line.
Drop it, stupid.
But here's where Chulin himself gets stupid. He knows about the immortals.
I know about you immortals. My head would be no good to you.
So Chulin knowingly stole a potion from an immortal that's been obsessed with perfecting the formula for centuries, and then knowingly goes toe-to-toe in combat with another immortal in the form of Duncan MacLeod. Well, I'm sure that all of this can only work out well for him.
Then again, maybe not.
Forgive the intrusion, but he was mine.
Number 4. Matthew Hale. Matthew Hale is this Watcher from Highlander Endgame. He's the Watcher responsible for overseeing the Sanctuary, and for non-Highlander fans who have no idea what the Sanctuary is, it's a centuries-old site run by Watchers where immortals can essentially retire.
A way to be removed from the game forever. The price is unimaginably high, but you are, for all practical purposes, protected from the violence within you.
Now, in the theatrical cut of Highlander Endgame, the Sanctuary was built on holy ground, but early on in the movie, immortal Jacob Cale breaks in with his immortal posse and slaughters all of its residents.
What you need to understand is that I don't care about the game. I don't care about the rules. I don't even care about these pathetic souls you keep locked away as a barrier to the prize.
Fans reacted so strongly to an immortal killing on holy ground with no consequence that in the producer's cut of Highlander Endgame, the Sanctuary is no longer built on holy ground. Now, common sense would seem to suggest that you would build the Sanctuary on holy ground, but it really makes no difference, because even if it was on holy ground, an evil immortal could just wheel the vulnerable immortals over its boundaries and behead them there. At the end of the day, immortals that retire to the Sanctuary are placing their lives in the hands of the Watchers that guard it, and unfortunately for those in Endgame, this guy is the one in charge, and he just never counted on a gang of immortals attacking the place.
You are all part of a great journey. A 400-year quest for justice.
But you know what? We all make mistakes, and you can forgive a guy for not anticipating a bunch of immortals being subservient to another. It's Matthew Hale's solution after the slaughter at the Sanctuary that's dumb. His cunning plan is this. Abduct Duncan MacLeod and force him into the Sanctuary.
There must always be 2 of your kind. As long as there are 2, and you're kept from fighting, then the prize is safe. The Sanctuary must not fail again.
You're insane.
Get yourself another volunteer.
We had a number of volunteers. Sadly, that's no longer the case.
Hey Genius, if you're now so desperate that you're willing to kidnap immortals for the Sanctuary, how about you start with this guy? Yeah, Jacob Kell is powerful, but he isn't immune to bullets, and it'd be poetic justice, given that it was Kell who killed the Sanctuary's former residents. But instead, Hale is abducting and making vulnerable the one immortal that actually has a prayer against Jacob Kell, thereby putting humanity at greater risk. Fortunately, ancient immortal mythos and watcher Joe Dawson break Duncan out of there.
You don't know what you're up against, Mac.
So people keep telling me. Stop the car.
I managed to liberate that from their lost and found.
There's blood on it.
I didn't say it was easy.
Now I don't know what Joe thinks of the Sanctuary, but I do know what he thinks about Matthew Hale.
Merry Christmas.
Wait, it's Christmas? Maybe you should have kept one of those scenes from earlier cuts of Highlander Endgame to establish that earlier than 83 minutes into a 90-minute movie. One thing I established earlier is the importance of clicking the bell icon for notifications. You see, being subscribed to Highlander Lore alone doesn't guarantee that YouTube will notify you of new videos, only clicking the bell icon does. You can also support Highlander Lore as either an immortal on Patreon or a watcher on YouTube. Either way, you gain access to a monthly bonus video and podcast episode. Now, a guy called Doug created some Highlander themed music that you might want to check out. I'm not affiliated with Doug in any way, and nor is he some kind of sponsor. He's just a fellow Highlander fan that made some content. Similarly, there's another fellow Highlander fan called Andrew that I've known for over 20 years. He's responsible for the Highlander Dark Places fan series, and his YouTube channel is well worth checking out. All links are below. Thank you for watching. Number 3. Robert Waverley. Robert Waverley was a lawyer who happened to witness and record Duncan MacLeod behead another immortal. He then tried to get Duncan to murder his wife by blackmailing him with the recording.
All you have to do is perform a certain service for me, which shouldn't be too difficult for a man of your obvious talents.
What would that be?
I want you to kill my wife.
Now, Waverley doesn't know about the immortals, so you might think that makes him less stupid for trying something like this than Chu Lin was, but at least Chu Lin is a highly competent martial artist. Waverley is just a sleazy lawyer that has to rely on a gun to protect himself, and even then, he's dumb enough to place himself alone and within striking distance of the dojo owner he's trying to blackmail.
Let me explain this slowly. You can't go leaving messages at my office. Everything depends on nobody being able to connect us.
Waverley may not know about the immortals, but he does know that the man he's with beheaded another human being, resulting in some supernatural shenanigans, and also that the man doesn't seem at all concerned at being threatened with a firearm. He eventually tries to kill Duncan's enemy, evil immortal Lyman Curlow, in the hopes that doing so will make Duncan change his mind about killing his wife, and that goes exactly how you'd expect.
I have a rich wife, money.
How nice.
Number 2. James Horton. Even though he's immortal, James Horton is undoubtedly Duncan MacLeod's arch rival in the TV series. He's a rogue watcher hell-bent on wiping out the immortals, and he's ruthlessly efficient at doing so. He cements himself as an eternal enemy of Duncan by beheading Duncan's friend Darius. Now, James Horton may be evil, but you can hardly call him stupid for how he goes about things, since he did succeed in causing a whole load of damage. But I'd say his reason for wanting to kill off the immortals is pretty stupid.
We know about the gathering.
Do you sense evil in me?
Talk to me! Tell me what you know! It's about power. There is nothing greater than the power of man. Nothing!
Now, in the extended lore, James Horton was the Kurgan's Watcher, so you can understand how that experience might have left a bad taste in his mouth. Even so, as a Watcher, he's best placed to know that not all immortals are like the Kurgan, and if he just has to kill immortals, then he could have at least focused on the evil ones. Instead, we only ever see him kill or try to kill the best of the immortals, and he actually sides with evil immortal Xavier St. Cloud to kill Duncan at one point.
He's not exactly a low-profile type. I shot him And I was just about to cut his head off when I realized he could lead me to you.
And let me guess. You told him you'd make sure he'd be the last immortal.
And he believed me.
Needless to say, this guy's moral compass is all over the place. Now, James Horton would first seem to die after being stabbed by Duncan.
Vitarius.
And then again after being shot by Joe Dawson.
I'll light you a candle.
But he would actually only really die in the final episode of Season 2. I don't know about you guys, but if I'd had to endure my worst enemy surviving devastating wounds twice, I'd do a hell of a lot more than stab him with a small knife the next time we met. But despite his death, James Horton's evil actions would continue to have serious repercussions throughout the series. Even the demon Arman sees fit to take his form to torment Duncan.
What the hell are you?
I am your friend. I am not your friend.
I'm the man you can't kill.
I can't really blame Duncan for losing it at the thought that Horton might still be alive.
If it wasn't for Joe, they would have nailed you. Listen, Mac, he convinced them to drop the charges.
I told him you were a friend of the deceased and you were overcome with emotion.
Yeah, nice touch.
Number 1. John Bowers. The old man you're seeing here is a mortal called John Bowers, and I'll be honest with you, this video wouldn't exist without him. I was considering starting Highlander Lore ever since I first started making videos on YouTube way back in 2006, and even then I wanted to rant about this guy. And since I finally did start Highlander Lore in November of last year, I've been trying to think of a video concept that would allow me to do so, because he just wouldn't warrant an entire video to himself. And here we are. But before I talk about John Bowers and why I hate him, I need to introduce newcomers to a different character, namely an immortal named Rebecca Horne. Rebecca is among the most interesting immortals in the Highlander TV series, and in the extended lore, she's around 3,000 years old. She was Amanda's teacher, and although we don't see nearly enough of her in the show, she steals every scene she's in.
Rebecca, please. I can't. I'm not good enough.
Will you run all your life?
Choose your ground, choose your weapon, and face what is to come. You're more than good enough.
What I particularly love about Rebecca is her ethereal vibe. There's just something mystical and magical about her, even more so than there is about Cassandra, a female immortal who actually can use magic. The actress that plays Rebecca, Nadia Cameron Blakey, has a very fey look and a very feminine, graceful presence.
There are things of this world, older and greater than us. Keep it always, and remember.
But however great Rebecca may be, she apparently has a very terrible taste in men since she married John Bowers. Although she didn't take his second name, which is interesting. Anyway, I need you to imagine yourself in the place of John Bowers. There you are, a mortal, wandering along with your immortal partner one morning, when all of a sudden another immortal shows up, and your partner tells you to go to holy ground.
Get into the cloister.
Oh, damn it, Rebecca. Nice.
Now.
It's a little late for that, Rebecca.
Luther.
Do you A. have humility? Recognise that however wise and intelligent you may be, your immortal partner has much more experience and knows the game better than you ever could, and decide therefore that despite your own instincts, you should follow their lead in this situation and go to holy ground like they told you to? Or do you B. do what John Bowers does? Even from the moment that Rebecca tells him to go to holy ground, he not only objects, but does so in this really patronising way, like she's overreacting. Like throughout this whole incident, he really comes across like he thinks he knows best. And then, when Luther shows up, he tries to get between him and Rebecca and directs his calming gestures towards her, as if she was the aggressor. Now, do you think that getting between two immortals turns out well for John? No. Of course it doesn't.
He's not part of this, Luther.
He is now.
Do it, Luther. Do it.
Come on. Do it. Do it!
Sadly, that doesn't happen, and Rebecca ends up surrendering her life in order to save John. If I was Rebecca, I'd have said, "Sorry, John, it would be far too dangerous to let Luther take my power, and besides, you ignored my advice and you got yourself into this mess, so sorry, if I could save us both, I would, but you're on your own. Good luck." Even worse, the rest of the episode treats John Bowers like he really was an innocent victim in that scenario. It's hard for me to believe that he told Amanda what really went down, because if he had, I think she'd have been a whole lot less sympathetic to him.
Rebecca was the immortal. And I never thought she'd die before me.
Well, it's easy to predict someone's death if you're the one that causes it, John. Now, some of you might say, okay, fair enough, John Bowers caused us to lose one of the most interesting immortals in the series, but does he really deserve to be ranked worse than James Horton? Well, to me he does, because at least Horton meant to kill the immortals that he did. John Bowers just thought he knew best, and Rebecca Horne died as a result. And then he continued on, utterly convinced that he did nothing wrong. This is why, to me, John Bowers is truly the worst mortal in all of Highlander. But that's it for now, so thank you for watching. Let me know if any mortal in the Highlander universe is terrible enough to stand out to you, and remember, in the end, there can be only one.
Julian's been writing monthly checks to a downtown real estate company. He must be running a place somewhere.
Then we must pay this real estate company a visit.
Relax, Kim-son. I doubt this ought to be necessary.